So I had the greatest pleasure the other day. I was in the US and with the family on vacation and experiencing Olympics. Man, it was a beautiful feeling because everybody wanted to know more about the people of Jamaica through us. They heard our accents, they saw us in our shirts, they saw us in the flag, and of course, we automatically had celebrity status. And we used that opportunity to just wax lyrically about our country, and we just spread the word, because anything for any opportunity we get to talk about Jamaica in glowing terms, we will. I mean, anything that will attract more tourists, anything that will attract investment, anything that will just attract positive attention, we're all for that. So it was a great feeling. Everybody wanted to know more about Bolt, if I'd ever met him, and just a little bit about everything. And like I said, we did take it to them. So we come home, and the moment we come home, that enthusiasm just waned. Well, not waned, dropped. We're on the airport road, and the man in front of us, he just stopped sudden, abrupt, and almost make a crash. Then he comes out of his vehicle, whips out his business, and then starts dealing with it. I only hear my 10-year-old son saying, "Mommy, you see why I didn't want to come back to Jamaica?" No. For me, that's a sad statement. That's sad commentary, really. And it got us think, this is us coming now, you know, fresh from feeling so good and, you know, carrying the flag like crazy, to just feeling so down because we start to see the lawlessness and the out of orderness and the bad behavior playing out. Okay, so it got me thinking, what can we do? Because I know basically Jamaicans are very proud people, you know. If you just look at how we talk, look at how we walk, look at when we go anywhere, we assert ourselves and so on. So the pride is there. But I really want to see, for me, I want to really see how do we translate that sense of pride and assertiveness and everything as Jamaicans into how we behave, how we preserve what we have, and how we treat with each other. Because that is a part, for me, that's part of being the great Jamaican that we are. So, like I said, I thought about it, and my 3 ideas are pretty simple. And I hope that the people who make policy, or the people who make decisions, or the people who get involved in campaigns at the government level will somehow take some of what I'm saying. Because I think there are 3 no budget ideas. One is we need, as a people, to understand the 2030 goals, the Millennium Goals. We hear about them and we are acquainted with them, but I don't know if we know as a people what the goals are and how we individually and collectively need to be working toward these goals. Then 2, I do believe there needs to be an understanding between the link or the nexus between our own habits and communicable diseases. All of a sudden now mosquito take over the place, and I give with V and Chick V, and then we have malaria and all those other things. And we have to understand that every time we wind down the window and throw something through the window, throw garbage through the window, or like the other day when I saw in the gully this big old couch disposed of, sitting in the gully, with all the rain in the world, that's going to take forever to wash down, and wash down where I don't know. And then just, you know, how we spit, how we urinate, how we just do anything, anywhere, and however we like. That's a major problem. And we just need to understand what's in it for me. Let me tell you what's in it for me. You need to understand that your own habit, my habit, your habit, contributes to diseases. when it's not the right habits. So again, we need that kind of campaign so people can make that link. Third, teach patriotism from very early. Get our children understanding and excited about our history and our heritage, the food that we have, the kinds of music and art and craft and movement and all of these things have a genesis, and we need to understand what that is, how each culture, Chinese, Indian, African, Caucasian, come together and make us who we are and so unique. And therefore, when we have a monument or a statue or whatever that is to immortalize some aspect of our history, let's know who it is, what it is, and why it is. And therefore, we're not to just open up shop near it or urinate by it or can spit there, because it means something significant. So how about making sure that as mandatory, all schools take our children to the National Gallery, the Institute of Jamaica, Liberty Hall, and all other places outside of Kingston that is rich with history and can tell a story about who we are, why we are, and what we are, and why when we're ready to take on the world, we take it on with such gusto and nobody can beat us. This is why we're always first here, doing this better than this person, this country, this one little dot right here so on this big map called the world. And so I want us to have that sense of pride, not just in spurts and in moments when our child goes abroad and do well on spelling bee, or a group crops the debating competition and beat out some big, well-known Ivy League schools, or we go and we develop or invent something that is making a difference to the quality of our lives. That is all wonderful. And therefore, we need to know that and just bring that to bear onto who we are. I mean, when you travel, and sometimes they take you to some little, what I would call a little stupidness thing to look at. But they make a big deal out of it. Jamaicans, we are a big deal. As Chris Martin and so on would say, I'm using the term. We're a big deal. But we need to really live it and play it out in how we behave and how we relate to each other, how we treat our environment, how we treat our monuments, and how we treat each other even on the roads, how we drive, just simple things, right? I would like to see a major difference. I'm sure you would too, because we all love Jamaica and we want to preserve it, and therefore, may you have a part to play. So, make we play it now.